So I'm back. So now we're in Paris. Cute, right? Evelyn, hey girl. It's me trying to be sexy. This is us. Paris. Okay, fine. So we had a great time in Paris. A lot was accomplished. He did what he needed to do with Adidas, and we headed home. As a sidebar, if you really that Paris trip was a trip. Evelyn Lozada and Antoine Walker saw a different side of both of us that trip, and they could tell you who the real G was. But anyway, we're heading home, and I go to the bathroom, and the flight attendant like knocks on the door and is like, your husband, something's wrong with him. Like, he's crying like hysterically, like something's wrong. So I rush out, I go see what's wrong with him, and I'm like, hey, what's good? You know, he's like, well, I just feel like I've done you wrong, like, and I feel like this trip we reconnected like best friends again, like we had a great time, and I just feel like I owe you more than what I've given you, and I just feel like we need to get married. I want to get married. We've been engaged all this time. F that, like, we need to get married. So I was like, okay, like, she's like, no, seriously, like, I want to get married right now. And I was like, well, you can't get married right now. It takes time to plan a wedding. So he was like, well, how long do you need? So I was like, well, probably like at least 6-9 months. And he's like, no, that's too much. I want to be married before the season starts. And I was like, okay, that's not giving me a lot of time, but okay. So we figured out a date of August 20th. And so that's what it was going to be. So once we landed, I bought my first bridal magazine. And this is your friend, super happy. We were so ugly back then. Look, these tree braids were trash. So this is us in the airport, coming back from Paris, okay? Oh, that's something else. Okay, fine. So we get back, I start planning my wedding. So since we were in New York, he was like, listen, just stay in New York and look for a dress. He gave me a budget for a dress. I think the budget was like 10. So I was like, okay, I can find something for 10. So I went to this place called Amsala, and I tried on the first dress just for like fit, style, whatever, and it ended up making me cry. And I don't know who's watched Say Yes to the Dress, but like once you cry, like that's your dress. It was odd, but I was like, this is not my dress. This is not what I wanted. It's not the right color. It's not this and it's that. So I brought my girlfriends the next day, and I was like, what y'all think about this dress? And they were crying too. So then I was like, okay, this might be the dress. The only problem with the dress is it was more than my budget. Not really the dress, but like the veil, because the veil was very intricate and had beading and all kind of stuff. So fine. So I called him and I'm like, listen, I found, he was like, did you find a dress? Like, cause we gotta get on ball. And I was like, I found a dress. It's the only dress I've tried on, and I think it might be the one. And he was like, so get it. And I was like, it's a little bit more, you know? And he's like, well, how much more? And he's like, well, let me call him and talk to him. I'm a celebrity. I can make things happen. So I was like, do what you can. I want this dress. And so he ended up calling. I don't know if he finagled a deal or whatever the case may be, but they ended up letting me get the dress. I don't know how much it was. He paid for it on the card. So it is what it is. So now with the wheels are in motion, we're getting married. So fine. I find the dress. I fly back to Atlanta because, like I said, we were not together before Paris. We were friends, we were co-parenting, but we were not together. I still had my home in Atlanta. He was still living in Indiana. So I get back home. I'm planning this wedding. Things are moving. And then boom. Bitch found out she pregnant again. So the city of brotherly love, or no, that's Philadelphia, but the city of love, Paris, whatever, yeah. So I ended up finding out that I was pregnant. I got pregnant in Paris. So now I'm like, this shit is crazy. Like, what am I gonna do? So I ended up calling him, letting him know, like, listen, like, we kind of fucked up. Like, we fucked up. We pregnant again. And he's like, oh my God, I'm so, like, he was happy. And I was like, do you not know we get married in a few weeks? Like, I don't want to have another baby. We got a newborn. Like, Taylor was a newborn. I was like, you know, she's already a newborn. And he was like, I don't care. I don't care. This might be my boy. And I was like, well, I'm not really ready to have any more kids. You know, I just gave birth less than a year ago. I just don't want to do it. And he was like, if you take it out, I'm never going to fuck with you again. And not that it was a threat, but it was like, I've seen how much he really wanted this kid. So I was like, well, it's just been a lot. Like, we have been through so much. I've been thrown out. I've been mentally abused, emotionally abused. I had went through a lot. So I was just like, I don't want to have a baby until, like, you know, I said, we get married. Like, we can have kids afterwards. Like, once we're married and make it a real official. And, you know, he was just like, no, it don't matter. And then a part of me didn't want to do it because I felt like I didn't want people to feel like we were rushing to get married because I was pregnant. Because I didn't know I was pregnant when I started planning this wedding, because I got pregnant in Paris. For all you who are going to look for something to kind of fall back on. Okay, fine. So I made him a deal. I said, listen, if it's a boy, I'll have it. And if not, you know, whatever. I'm not proud of that either. But I'm telling you, I'm putting everything on the table. So my doctor has DNA test chromosomes. So if you're a woman and you're pregnant and they draw your blood, there should be no male XY or whatever it is chromosomes because you're a female. So they were able to determine the sex of the baby at 6 weeks. And just my luck, it was a boy, and he's a wonderful boy. And I give all praises. I bow down to him to this day for my son, because he is the most incredible human being. Like, he is my male twin. Like, if I was a 14-year-old boy, I would be him. Like, that was the best decision I've ever made. And so now, okay, we're pregnant, we're having a boy, and we're getting married. So I keep planning my wedding, but I'm like, shit, my dress. So I called the place. I'm like, hey, changing plans, I'm pregnant. So they needed to take my dress out. It was a mess. And, you know, we decided, like, we weren't going to tell anybody because we didn't want people in our, you know, we just didn't want to tell anybody. Like, it was just stupid. So we're like, we'll tell everybody after we get married, you know, that we're expecting, because I don't want nobody to throw dirt on your name. Like, I'm just marrying you because you're pregnant, because you already had a kid for me. If I was going to do that, I would have did that with my daughter. So fine. So now here's the part where everybody wants to question. The question of the prenup came up. And it was a thing. And me and him talked about it, and he was like, you know, I don't need it because I've seen you stay down with me through my overdose, through me treating you like shit, me throwing you out, me having kids on you, like, you a real one. You gonna hold me down. Like, I'm not even pressed about a prenup. But my mom and them, they very much want me to get one. So I said to him, like, listen, if that's something you want, we need to do it now, because, like, we got like a month before this wedding starts. And I was like, you know, and for all y'all fucking hating ass bitches that think, oh, she don't want to sign a prenup, let me tell y'all something, dummy. It's easier to negotiate a prenup when you have somebody that's in love with you, when they were willing to do anything for you. That's the best time to get a prenup, stupid. When y'all are fighting and y'all divorcing and y'all hate each other, that's when you're not getting shit. But if this man loves you, this is the best time. So I'm not averse to prenups. Let me just put that out there right now. That's not true. So it is what it is. So I'm sorry I keep saying it is what it is. This tea got me, child, whatever. Okay. So me and him both decided we did not want to get a prenup. And there's a lot of backstory between me and his mom and her behaviors during our relationship for the past 4 or 5 years. And let's just say I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But I tolerated it and I dealt with it respectfully because that's his mother. And if I love him, I have to love her. And I did. And I'm going to leave that there. So, time is moving. He's getting calls about this prenup. He's like, man, I wish they would leave me the F alone. I'm a grown man. I make my own decisions. They can't tell me what to do, whatever. But between his mom, the homeboys, everybody's putting pressure on this man. And I'm feeling like the bad guy because I don't want to make him have to choose. But at the same time, if you're going to be my husband, you're supposed to stand up for me. And that's what we chose together. That's what you chose for me to do. Then I'm going to follow your lead. I don't care what people think. But I just hated that he had all that pressure on him. So fine. We never went to an attorney. I never went to an attorney. He never met with an attorney. Nobody I know went to an attorney. And I'm going to leave that right there. And we're going to move forward. So fast forward, we're getting closer and closer to the wedding. The beginning of August, we ended up in Vegas for some reason. I don't even know. A bachelor party, maybe. I don't know. It was something. It was something. But we ended up in Vegas. And he must have gotten a phone call from his mom. And he just came back to the room. Mind you, I'm still pregnant. I can't party. It's not like we're in Vegas partying. So I'm in the room. He came back and he was like very distraught. And he was like, I wish they would leave me alone. I'm just tired of this shit. And I was like, well, I'm sorry. Like, if that's something you want to do. And he was like, it's nothing that I want to do. It's them, So he was like, fuck it. We should just go get married right now. Downstairs. Just go do it. That way they don't have nothing to say. And I said, well... And again, I'm telling you the good and the bad about me too. Being honest with you, I kind of wanted my moment. Like, I had been through so much shit with this man. I had been publicly humiliated, embarrassed, everything like that. So, and our wedding was like literally like 3 weeks away maybe. And I was like, no, no. Like, we done spent all this money on this wedding. And by the way, it wasn't $400,000. Like, the wedding total with my dress and everything, maybe $100,000, $150,000 if I'm being generous. It was not no big lavish, extravagant wedding. Let's just put that out there right now. So he's like, nah, fuck it. Let's just go get married right now. So for all you haters that want to say, she didn't want to sign a prenup, I could have married him that night in the fucking hotel without a prenup, and nobody would have known. But I wanted my moment. I think every girl dreams about their wedding. You finally found a man you want to marry. You dream about your dress, your wedding, your family being there, your friend. Like, it's an event, and it's kind of letting people know, like, nah, this shit is real. Like, we have to come together, and everybody in this room needs to get on board because this is what we're doing. So, good, bad, or ugly, y'all gonna hate regardless. But yeah, I wanted my moment, and I did not want to get married downstairs in a Vegas hotel, so I didn't. So we leave Vegas. Now we coming up to the wedding day, and now this is when shit gets real. So the wedding day, we had planned like a wedding weekend. So we flew in earlier, maybe I think Wednesday or Thursday, to kind of get like our wedding license together and, check out the hotel, the space. I planned the whole wedding myself, but I had a girl that was helping me day of and like during that weekend, like logistically pulling things together from Houston for me because, I had never really been in Houston. And the preacher, that's horrible, and I'm fucking disgusted that he would even say that. The preacher that we chose is my friend Tammy Lucy's father. He's a minister in Houston. And I didn't know anybody in Houston, but I knew her, and I knew her dad was an honorable and good man. And so for anybody trying to slander him, you suck for that. So she was my friend, and her father was going to marry us. And we'll get back to that. Okay, fine. And everybody was okay with that. it was just like a lot. It's just like exhausting even kind of going back there and thinking about it. Like I had to hear about, you know, my mom wants you to get a prenup because she say that, you know, if something happened to me, he had just bought her a house. You could throw her out of her house. Like, I'm not even that kind of person, you know? So that offended me. And I was like, Stephen, you know there's no way I would even, he was like, I know, but that's her fear. And that's what she keeps saying and this and this and that. So he's telling me I'm good, babe. Like, we've been through enough. Like, I'm good. Like, I know you're the one. I don't need that from you. But on the other side of him, he has like, you know, his family, like the people who were there for him since birth, telling him, get this for me. You need to do this for me because, you know, I don't trust her and I don't like her and I don't do this. And so like, you know, so he's like in the middle of a rock and a hard place. And me as his woman, I just stand there beside him and whatever he decides, that's what we gonna do. He told me he don't want no prenup. We not getting no prenup. That's it. So fine. Friday came. The rehearsal dinner, people are starting to come in. We have this, you know, party to kind of welcome everybody. It was cute. My daughter was dressed up and nobody knew I was pregnant still. And so we go down to the rehearsal dinner and my daughter kind of wobbles in there because she's like little toddler and she like goes in there and everybody like stands up, they cheer. Everything is good. They like everybody's celebrating her because she's so cute, and they clap for us as we walk in, except for his mother. It was so bad. It was like her and like I think one of her sisters and like some homegirls, whatever. They were just in that corner, like, not only to me but like to my daughter too. Like it was bad. So I'm not paying that girl no mind. So I was like, you know what? It's my week. I'm not letting her ruin my good time. Like, I'm not. I got my man. I got my kids. My family's here. Like, it is what it is. So, we get through that night. So, that night, he's like, babe, I'm going to my bachelor party. Like, you know, Steph is here. You know, we about to all go hang out, you know. I wish I had the wedding pictures here, but I don't have it. But I'll do it later. I'll show y'all later. And so, you know, my pregnant ass went upstairs and laid down because that's what I do. And, you know, I think some of the girls went out with them. I don't know. Don't get me to lying, but that's what happened. So that night, and maybe about like 3 in the morning, maybe, he calls me. He's like, hey, I had doubts, but I went out tonight and we went to the strip club and I was turning up. I was fucking drunk. I was pissed. He's like, wasn't even tempted. Like, I wasn't even tempted to be with nobody else. Like, I'm getting married. I'm a man now. So we was laughing about it. And of course, you know, he's like, yo, but since I was so good, can I come by and get some? I was like, nigga, no. Like, we get married in the morning. It's bad luck to see me before the day, whatever. So he was like, I'm still going to come by and tell you good night. So I was like, I'm not opening the door. Like, you're not going to see me because it's already the day of the wedding because it's like 3 in the morning. So he does come by and he like talks to me through the door. It was like really sweet, like a rom-com movie. And, you know, I love you too. He goes to his room. I go to sleep. We wake up the next morning and then all fucking hell breaks loose. Like the entire hell broke loose. The morning I wake up, it's me and my girlfriends, and I'm in my suite, and the bridesmaids start slowly trickling in. Okay. The bridesmaids started trickling in because I had like hair and makeup scheduled for all of us, and they were coming in my suite so we could all get dressed together and make it like a big bonding time, you know? It was cute. It was cute.